Okay, the Champions League final is now set. We finally got it. It is now PSG versus Arsenal. The semi-finals are done. Both Arsenal and PSG, of course, made it through. Tough games, and they were close games. And it's so funny because both games were decided by one goal. Arsenal winning 2-1 against Atletico Madrid. It was a tight, kind of battle between Mikel Arteta and Diego Simeone. And you thought, oh, okay, this could go either way. But then the Bayern versus PSG game was literally in the same kind of fashion. It could have gone either way. And I think, obviously, if we're looking, say, at the Arsenal game first, I think, listen, I'm not going to get into the whole semantics right now. I do think that that's something that we could potentially talk about at another time. But I do want to say, I think for Arsenal fans, obviously for them, this is like a long time coming. This is something that they have been waiting for. I even remember watching Arsenal in the final against my Barcelona 2006. I fully remember that. And I fully remember thinking to myself, yeah, okay, you ain't never really gonna get here again. Like I even thought that them getting to that final was like Liverpool getting to the final the year before, where you looked at him for, bro, how are you even here? Like you're not that good, blah blah blah. Cool. Did I think it was gonna take this long for Arsenal to get to a final? Maybe not. Maybe not this long, but I did think it would take a while just because since then we've had Pep Guardiola with Manchester City, with Barcelona, we've had Real Madrid in that time. Bayern Munich have gotten there. PSG themselves have also gotten there. Like I've just always felt there'd been better teams. So for them to have had to wait this long to get to the final, like I say, I remember. I don't think even Miles Lewis Skelly was even born, rude boy. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So when I'm looking at it, I'm like, I can understand why these lot are celebrating mad. Do you get what I'm saying? Now, listen, the celebration police are going to say what they're going to say, right? So I feel like that's one of them kind of things where you just kind of, it is what it is, right? So don't take no notice of it. And I don't think Arsenal fans are anywhere. Who cares? You're in the final, mate. You're in the final. You just enjoy that in itself. You could potentially be looking at winning a double come the end of the season. Obviously, you can't count your chickens just yet before they've even hatched. But look, you know what I'm saying? These are the things that are going to be on the potential horizon for this team. And I just think that they've suffered for such a long time. They probably do deserve, you know what I'm saying, a bit of joy. A bit of joy. I mean, I hope they don't win anything. Of course not. I wouldn't want them to. Premier League, I don't really care so much. Champions League is the one where I'm like, I can't have you winning that one. I don't. Nah, you can't. You can't just be. No, you can't just join the table. You can't say you can't just now. You're going to be asking to sit on the table with the big boys, and yeah, it's just going to be all kind of mad. But listen, look, all jokes aside, I think they were the better team over the two legs between themselves and Atletico. Didn't think Atletico Madrid were offered anything. If I'm being totally honest with you, I just never. I didn't get that feeling. Like it was more, I had the feeling before the games, but then as the game kind of went along, and was going on in that kind of 180 minutes, I just felt like Arsenal were just not comfortable. I don't think it was ever comfortable. Just yeah, you just like yeah. I feel like Arsenal should make it through, barring something catastrophic happening. I just can't see it with Atletico Madrid. I can't even lie to you. So yeah, to see them through, I was like, yeah, man. I'm not going to say expected, but you're doing exactly what you need to be doing in order for you to be putting yourselves in these conversations. And that for me is key because I do feel, and like I said, we'll have a conversation about this probably closer to the final, but I do feel that it's the reason why people always get on to you guys. It's not anything to do with your club, or it doesn't have much to do with your club unless you're a rival like Tottenham or Chelsea or something like that. But I do think it's more centered around the fact that your fans, as much as they try to support, sometimes you go over the top and you go, just you just always want to jump off that cliff. And I never seem to understand why, because ultimately you've been proved wrong. Now, obviously, this might be the time when you are proved right, but yeah, it's been proved wrong numerous amount of times. And you continue to go on and on and on and on. Hence why people then get quite frustrated with the fan base. It's nothing to do with the team. We think you've got excellent players. Well, I think they do. And I think majority of people would agree. You've got the kind of team that probably could make it to the final. I said at the beginning of the season, you're my pick to win the league. Champions League, obviously, it might be a little bit different. I had a feeling PSG or maybe Barcelona would potentially get there, which PSG obviously have. So, yeah, I just think that you had the best squad in the Premier League. and it all just kind of, I guess it just all depends on the luck of the draw, what kind of teams you're going to face, etc., etc. And now you're here. Now you're here, man. Like I said, you guys deserve it. Like, I'm not even gonna, this ain't me trying to whatever. Like, you've actually deserved to get here. I think you've been the best. I think you've been the most consistent team in the Champions League. I believe you've not lost one game, to my knowledge. I could be wrong, and if I am, apologies, but I'm sure you ain't lost a game at all in the Champions League. I'm sure you've beaten Bayern. I'm sure you've beaten a PSG. Like, you know what I mean? You've beaten Atletico Madrid. Like, you've beaten some really, really good teams along the way. I know everyone was bantering about the knockout stages and stuff like that, but you've beaten those teams, of course, in the group phase. You've had to beat them anyway to be able to qualify for the next round. So it all counts. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just one of the things. Like I say, for Arsenal fans, it's not about listening to the noise. It's about just kind of focusing on your team, on the support for your team. What happens in the final, who knows? Again, it's a one-off game, so anything could potentially happen. It's going to be interesting. It's really, really going to be interesting. I think a lot of questions are going to be answered in this game, whether they win or lose, to be honest with you. So let's wait and see in that regards. Looking at PSG, listen, for me, I said it during the game as I was watching it. I thought about it afterwards. I hate being premature, and I'm going to have a conversation around it. If they win, I'll definitely, maybe even if they lose as well, but I definitely, if they win, there'll be a conversation about how good this team actually is. You guys already know, I think it's only been Real Madrid in recent history that have actually gone back-to-back in the Champions League. So imagine PSG were able to do that. Absolutely tremendous feat. And like I said, there are some conversations with a certain team in Catalonia. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna have to start asking that question. You guys already know the question, and I haven't got the answer for that right now. Do you get what I'm saying? I really don't have the answer for that right now. Right now, I'm leaving it there. I'm leaving it there for everybody else to conversate about. We'll have that discussion at a later date. But what I will say about PSG, and obviously after this semi-final between themselves and Bayern, where again I felt like they were the better team over the two legs. They are the best team in Europe, in my personal opinion. I think they have absolutely everything. They're my type of team. This is the kind of football I want to see from my own team. This is the kind of football I love to enjoy. You've got the type of players that I would love to see in my team. The types of the Kvaratskhelia, the Doués, the Dembeles, the Hakimis, the Mendezes, even Pacho. By the way, big shout out to Pacho, because I believe Pacho is or has been one of the best centre-backs over the last couple of seasons since joining PSG. Absolutely phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. And then the midfield three, you already know. Throw in Zaire Emery if you want in there, kind of thing. The quartet of that midfield is probably the best midfield in the entirety of Europe. It's just such a balanced team. And they showed you 1 week we can go machine for machine. If you guys want to do that, we can show you that first and foremost, you're not going to do better than PSG when you go machine for machine. I promise you, Bayern are the next best team in terms of the attack, or if not on par with, a team like PSG. And if they couldn't do it, and Mbappe and all these other guys, bro, trust me, they're not going to be able to do it. Yeah, you can't do machine for machine. They also showed another side to them against Bayern in the second leg, where they also said, you know what, actually, we're just going to kind of chill. We're going to score a goal. We're going to do our thing. Yes, there's going to be moments. Listen, Bayern are an absolutely fantastic team themselves, so I expect there to be moments. I expect there to be hairy moments within there, where within the game in itself. But we're going to show you that we can do this thing as well. Do you get what I'm saying? Like we know our thing. We know what we're about, and that the level of discipline that this team, like, it is. I'm in awe of this team currently. Even if they don't win the Champions League, yes, that would be very disappointing. And yes, you could look at that in many ways if you want, but I'd still want that team. I would love to be in PSG's position, just as a fan base, just as a fan of that team, knowing that I'm a supporter of arguably the best team in the world with some of the best players in the world. And we can easily still continue, to get better. One of the best managers in the world. Like, there's a lot going for a team like PSG, and just they just, like I said, I was just in awe, just like watching them in that second leg more than I was in that first leg, because I knew they can do that in that first leg. I knew that. I've seen them do that enough times. Do you get what I'm trying to say, bro? We saw the final last season when they slapped Inter Milan. So we've seen them do it. We've literally seen them do it. This ain't new. Do you get what I'm saying? For those who watch League 1, you've seen them slap teams in there. I've seen them get beat as well. Don't get twisted. Like everybody else, they're human. So I've seen them also get beat. But if we're just talking about them in a positive light, but I've seen them slap so many teams. But guess what? I've also seen them put in these kind of performances, guys. I've seen them put in these kind of performances where you're like, yeah, like I said, you're just going to chill today. You know what I mean? We're not going to go lever for lever, machine for machine. We ain't going to do that today. You know why? We don't need to do that because we're winning. As long as we get our goal and we remain disciplined within the game, we've got the players to be able to do so. And that is something I absolutely love. They can do different things. They're not tied to just one thing. There was a lot of talk after that first game because everybody, I guess people, when you don't watch a team enough or you're just not really clued up, the way people were looking at it is, yeah, well, this is just typical of those two teams. I said, no, my friend. No, it's not. Do you get what I'm saying? It's not that. They can do both. They have a balance. They have a manager who has the trust of his players, the identity of the two of PSG. It's just ridiculous. They are literally the best team in the world. And I honestly don't feel like anybody else is coming that much closer. Much as I would love to say Barcelona, I don't think you're on that type of wave, you know. I really don't. You don't have that kind of synergy, you know what I mean, that a team like PSG actually currently has. So, yeah, for me, listen, I think hopefully it's a cracking game. I don't want to boring. You know, I mean, we like the PSG versus Inter game because there was goals, and we rarely ever see like that many goals. Obviously, 5 of them was a bit mad, but we rarely ever see goals in these type of games. So it'll be good to, I feel, see. I'm not saying it has to be 5-0 to anybody, but at least just an entertaining game. Is this going to be the game where everybody's watching, everybody's glued to the TV screens, and everybody's like, "Oh my god, that's got to be the best final." You know what I mean? Like, even I don't think it would be. It could never be a Liverpool versus AC Milan. You could, you know what I mean? You know, sometimes you just say like, "Oh my god, this is the best final I've ever seen." Do you get what I'm saying? Until you go back into your archive and stuff like. But yeah, I want that kind of feel. I really, really want that kind of feel. So it's like I said, it's going to be very, very interesting. Both teams, in my opinion, have thoroughly deserved to get to the final. Who wins? I don't know. You guys let me know in the chat who you guys have got. I think most of you are going to say PSG, but like I say, man, I don't want to rule out Arsenal at this moment in time. Like I said, it's a one-off game. If they win the Premier League, are they going to be coming off the back of that on a high? Who knows? Let's wait and see. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. And like I said, both teams deserve it. So yeah, roll on the Champions League final, man. Guys, leave your thoughts in the comment section. I'll catch you real soon. Peace.